This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let me try to start today's session. So in the last class, we started configuring our enterprise structure, and there were a few things we already checked out how that need to be done as part of your financial accounting. So like we perform an activity where we checked how to go for creation of our company as our first step. Second step, we've also worked out with our credit card data creation. Now, today we try to work out with the third one, which we try to call it as a company code. And when you try to go for creation of a company code, whatever process we followed for configuring company and credit control area, we don't follow the same process for this. The reason for that, when we try to go for creation of a company code, there are going to be set of entries which need to be maintained by the finance department mandatory. We can create a company code straight away. Along with that, there are going to be some entries which need to be activated. Now, what is that? So we need to basically go for creation of chart of accounts. This is going to be one thing. Chart of accounts is nothing but structured list of GL accounts. So in a business, you're going to be having different set of GL accounts, which will be used for asset management, for liabilities, for expenses, for revenues. We have different set of GL accounts activated. So your finance team need to go for creation of chart of accounts as our first step. Second step, they need to go for creating a financial year. Whatever transaction we try to record in SAP will be posted with reference to a financial year. They need to define it. Whether you want transaction need to be posted as part of 2024-25 or 2025 or 2026, that need to be created and maintained. Because every business will be having month-end activities. So transaction which you are going to be running need to be posted in that particular financial year. So they need to design this one. Third, they need to prepare GL accounts. They need to go for creation of GL accounts. So we are going to be having different GL accounts for posting our revenues, discounts, tax amount. Then we have different GL accounts for posting our surcharges. Like this, we are going to be having different GL accounts to post different values. Whenever we sell any particular product, or when we receive any kind of payment, or when we do any kind of payment, that values are going to be posted as part of your GL accounts. So for that reason, when we create a company code, these settings need to be enabled by default. Now, we are not the finance consultant to maintain all these particular settings. For that reason, when we try to go for creation of a company code, we try to basically copy the data from the reference, so that these settings are going to be enabled against for our business. Okay, so when we try to work out with this, we try to basically copy the data from reference. Please remember that whenever you try to create a company code, we copy the data from the reference. Now, this is in your practice server, we follow this. In the real time, FI will be maintaining all this particular information and they create it. Okay. Only in practice servers, we try to basically copy the data. In the real time, your FI team will be maintaining all this particular settings. And how you're going to be copying the data? You're going to be having source. We try to call it as source company code. From which company code you want to copy the data to target company code. This is what we try to call it as from to. From where you are going to be picking to where you want to copy it. So here I'm going to be using an entry called as 17, from which I'm trying to copy the data. Now, reason why I'm going to be picking up this entry. When you install SAP, default SAP is going to be providing some sample data. And for that sample data, these settings has been enabled perfectly. That is the reason I'm trying to take 1710 as a reference, from which I try to copy, and I'm going to be creating my company code. Okay, and I'm going to be maintaining the name as LIND. Always the code for company code is going to be maximum of 4 letters. If you want to maintain 3 letters, you can, but length cannot exceed more than 4 letters. That is the restriction we have. Okay, now this is a process we follow: creation of a company code, which is going to be the third step we try to learn as part of your enterprise structure. Now, the reason why we need to create this company code, it will be sharing the balance sheet. Okay, so whatever transactions we record, let it be incoming payment, outgoing payment will be posted with reference to company code level. So when you try to get into enterprise structure, get into definitions, and under definition, work with financial accounting module. And here we try to work out with this one: edit, copy, delete, check, company code. So here you can see we have an option of copying it. And when you click on it, you're going to be finding two options to deal with. First step, you can copy the data from the reference. Second, if you want to create your own company code, you can also do that. Right now, we try to work with the copy option, so I'm trying to deal with the one. And when you click on it, this how the screen is going to be looking. And to copy our company code from a reference, try to take the help of copy icon. This is the icon to copy the data. From left hand side, second one. And when you click on it, this is what you're going to be finding it. Which company code you want to copy the information to which company code. From and to. From is what we call it as source. To we call it as target. Now here, if you want to check what all company codes are maintained, you can click on it. List of company codes are going to be showing up over here. In this particular screen, you can find standard entries. You can find custom entries. Okay, what all entries we maintain in the server, that will be shown up over here as well. So right now I'm trying to pick up this one. This is a standard one. So double click on it, it will be getting copied. And here you need to enter the company code what you want to create. I'm trying to create it on the name of LIND and try to click on continue option over here. Now we got one message. System is saying that already there is a company code which has been created on this particular name, LIND. So it's asking us to correct that particular naming convention. Okay, so here I don't want to use it. I'm just trying to use another one. Let's say I'm trying to call it as LIN. Only 3 letters I'm maintaining it. Click on continue. Now these are all what we call it as dependent entries. What all entries which has been maintained for 1710 is getting copied to our entry, and system is asking us to provide the confirmation. These are all what we try to call it as confirmation messages. Now, when you deal with SAP, you're going to be finding different types of messages. You're going to be having 4 different types of messages. One, we try to call it as error message. Second, warning message. Third, success message. And fourth is going to be information message. These are the 4 different messages we try to work. Errors are always going to be red in color, warning yellow, success green. Information is going to be in the form of pop-ups, or we try to call it as dialog box. Okay. So right now you're getting a confirmation messages in the form of dialog boxes. And what you mean by it? Do you want to copy the GL accounts? I want to copy all the GL accounts maintained for 1710 to our company code. Give the access for it. In case if you don't want to copy, no. Right now I want to copy, try to click on yes option, and there's a second one. Controlling area. Whatever controlling area maintained for 1710 is also getting copied. Do you want it? No. We don't want controlling area to be copied. We are going to be creating our own. Try to click on no option over here. Now, reference company code is running all the transaction in which currency? Dollars. Now, we need to run everything in dollars in India? INR. So give the access. Do you want to allocate a different currency? Yes or no? I want to change it. Click on yes. In which currency? Maintain that currency information and give the access for continuation. Certain data was not copied. That is absolutely fine. Try to click on continue option. Customizing setting inconsistency, not a problem. We try to correct everything. Give the action complete. Don't click on cancel anywhere. If you cancel, these entries will be not getting copied. If these entries are not getting copied, you don't find any difficulties right now. When we start working recording incoming payments, outgoing payments, there you will be finding lot of errors coming up. So when you try to create a company code, make sure you try to click on continue option. To copy all these particular dependent entries. You want to transport the number ranges, click on yes option, and this will be showing how much amount of tables are getting updated. Whatever values we try to save in SAP will be stored in the form of tables. Now, this is a request what we have created yesterday. No, right? So we have created a different request for storing our enterprise structure configuration. And now if you try to click on own request. Now let's say I don't want to save the data in this request. I want to save the data in another existing request. Try to click on own request. What all requests which we have created in the past is going to be shown up. And here I can select under which request I want my configuration need to be updated. So I'm going to be using this particular request. This is what we have created last class. If you try to expand it, you're going to be finding company and credit control area created. So I'm just trying to use this particular request over here. Simply double click on it. It will be getting copied. So our company code information also is getting stored in this particular request itself. So try to click on continue. Okay, so there are some more dependent entries which need to be getting copied. Give the action for the system to copy all the values. Don't get panicked when you see so many messages getting displayed. Okay, so this is going to be happening because there are going to be a lot of settings what we try to enable. These settings are not only with reference to finance module, with reference to your and inventory management. For stock valuation purpose, stock coming in, stock going out, there are that dependent entries which are getting copied as well. And this is the only place. Try to click on continue. There are some more dependent entries. Whenever you try to click on continue, are you able to exit from the screen? What you mean by this particular message? System is saying that all entries from 1710 has been copied to LIN. Apart from LIN, if you want to create another company code, it is asking us to enter new company code values. Now, for example, you have 3 businesses which you want to create it. You have done with the first one. If you want to create a second one, it is asking us to enter new company code over here. So we good with one business at the moment. Try to click on cancel. I don't want to create a second one. If you try to click on continue, you cannot go ahead. Okay, if you want to go ahead, try to click on cancel. There are some more dependent interests. Keep on copying it and you will be completing this particular activity. All these are going to be one-time activity. It's not going to be every day you're going to be doing these things. This is going to be one-time setup. Okay, so this is going to be the final message you're going to be getting it. Values has been copied. We picked up a company code, what? 1710. And we try to copy the data to which entry? LIN. With this, your company code creation has been completed. Okay. Now, this is the step what we have done. We have created it. Now, in this particular process of copying it, whatever naming convention address maintained for 1710 also has been copied to LIN, and that need to be updated. Now, this company code is having currency USD, right? It's a US based company from which I try to copy the data. The address need to be updated. Now, what we do over here, once done with this particular step, we come back, we try to work out with the second step. If you want to do any kind of changes, we try to get into edit company code data and we try to update the information. Now, when you double click on it, list of entries will be shown up. Now try to click on position, select our entry, which is going to be LIN. And what is the naming convention? You can find it over here. Company code 1710. This need to be updated. Now how to do this? You can select this particular entry, details. This is the icon to update the changes. Get into details and update the information. Now here I'm trying to rename it to LJ India, city, country. We already updated currency. I'm not doing that change, and language. Now, for a company code, do you have an address? Yes. And this is the icon for capturing the address. Click on this address tab and update the address over here. First, whatever interest which has been copied from the reference, delete it. Delete the interest which has been copied from the reference. And now do the updation process over here. So I'm just trying to maintain it as a company and I'm trying to call it as LJ India LIN is the code, and I'm trying to maintain all this particular values. Now, this is the information what the finance team need to collect it from the business, and they need to update it over here. You can fill in all these values. Country. Now, once you selected your country, what all states maintained in that country will be shown up. You can go for selection of it. Okay. Now here I'm trying to maintain it as 36. Now who provide this codes? Government of India. Okay. For which state, what is there is a code maintained, we need to use it. And if you feel like this address is incomplete, you want to maintain more values, there is an option called as more fields. You can capture the address in more detailed manner by maintaining building code, room number, floor number, all this particular information. If not, leave it as it is. And if you try to scroll down, any language of communication, telephone number, mobile number, fax, email, you can update all that information. And there is a preview option as well. If you click on this icon, the format in which the address is going to be printed is going to be shown up. You can check that. Try to click on continue. I want this address need to be getting copied. Try to click on copy icon. And now try to save it. With this, your company code creation with complete parameters which need to be activated has been maintained. Always remember, when you're trying to work on your demo systems, if you want to create a company code, pick up a standard, copy, rename it. But in real time, your finance department is going to be activating all this particular dependent interest, and they try to make sure it is going to be updated against our entry. Okay, so right now we are trying to play a role of a finance. That is the reason we copy it. In the real time, we don't copy it at all. So these are the 3 steps what you required from financial accounting module. Once you know how to deal with these things, then comes the next one, which we try to call it as controlling department. So financial accounting is different, controlling is different, where you are going to be finding CEO consultant doing the configuration. And we try to learn over here how to go for creating a controlling area. So this particular controlling area will be dealing with your controlling area is going to be dealing with an activity called as product costing. They try to fix up the price. At what price we need to sell the product in the market, that price will be maintained by the controlling department. Who will be creating it? CEO. CEO consultant need to have knowledge on finance module as well. Without knowledge of finance, they cannot work with product costing. And they try to understand the process flow in MM, PP, and in sales. It's not that they require knowledge on finance. They will be having knowledge on procurement process, on production process, on sales process as well. And when you try to create a controlling area, there is a thumb rule what we try to follow. Always your controlling area is going to be equivalent to company code. We always remember this one. Company controlling area is always going to be equivalent to company code. Whatever authorizations maintained for company code, same thing will be applicable for controlling area to perform costing for that particular business. Now, when we try to create a controlling area, we created a company code on what name? LIN. So same name will be applicable for our controlling area as well. I'm going to be maintaining the same thing because I'm going to be selecting a rule. Controlling area is going to be equivalent to company code. Now, this is what we try to call it as decentralized. Here you're going to be finding two options, centralized and decentralized. Now, what is the difference between them? Now, for example, if you have Tata, I'm trying to work with LG itself. LG. LG, we try to call it as company. Now, LG is running the business at different location. Let's say they are trying to run the business in India, in USA, in UK. In these three regions, they are trying to run the business. So, based on geographical location, we are trying to create it as what? Company code. Now, I'm going to be having controlling area, which will be doing product costing. If I try to map in this way, so I'm going to be having three different controlling areas to perform product costing at three different geographical location. Then we try to call it as decentralized. Now, for three business, if I'm trying to use a common controlling area to do the product costing, then we try to call it as centralized. Okay, so if you're having three different controlling areas to do for three different company codes, we call it as decentralized activity, or you need to have only one common controlling area which will be doing product costing for all the business. Centralized and decentralized. This is what your finance and controlling department need to handle together. Okay, so right now we are trying to follow a concept called as decentralized. Each company code is going to be having its own controlling area which will be doing product costing. That is the reason I'm going to be selecting this particular option. Controlling area is equivalent to company code. Now, when you deal with this, try to close this financial accounting and try to get into controlling module. We are not going to be performing any other steps as part of your financial accounting. These things are not required for SD integration. We're not trying to look into it. So you can close it, try to get into controlling module, and try to go for creation of controlling area. You have only two steps to deal with. I'm trying to work with the first one. And when you hit on it, maintain controlling area, we have this particular screen getting displayed. And here you're going to be finding three options. If you want to copy, you can work with the first one. If you want to create, second one. If you want to delete, third one. I'm going to be creating. I'm not going to be copying it because there is no entries which need to be updated. So work with the second one, maintain controlling area. And this up the screen will be looking. Now, what is the message you got? Data is locked. Why? Some other people are trying to work on this particular screen. Now, what is the access you have it? Display. If I try to click on yes option over here, I have the access only for display mode. If I want to add new entries, there is no option available for me. I can only view the data. If I want to do any kind of changes, if I want to add any values, not possible. Now, how to remove this lock entries? If you want to work on the screen, you're going to be using a transaction code called as SM12. This is basically to remove lock entries, so that you will be having access to do any kind of changes required. Now, how to get into that? So to open up a new session, I'm trying to use a transaction code /O. Click on enter. New screen is going to be getting opened up. In this particular screen, I'm entering transaction code SM12. Click on enter. This how the screen is going to be looking. This is going to be under the control of basis department, not sales. If you get lock entries, you need to put a request to the basis and they try to clear it. Now, remove the client, remove the username, and try to click on search option over here. So list of lock entries are going to be shown up over here. Now, what we need to do, select all the entries and delete it. Nothing will be lost. You will be having access to work on that particular screen. Database will be not getting disturbed. Now, he will be having the access and you will be also having the access to work on the simple access will be provided. Yeah, table lock, that's it. So try to delete it. Done. Now you can get back, exit from this particular screen, or you can find change icon. Try to click on change. Now you can have the access of new entries. In display mode, you can only view. If you click on it, now you can do all the changes required. Now try to take the help of new entries and go for creation of it. When you click on new entries, this how the page is going to be looking. Controlling area page. And here you can find this option. Controlling area is equivalent to what? Company code. C code is nothing but company code. Your controlling area is equivalent to which company code? Click on it. Now what is our company code? LIN. That is what we have created, LIN. Okay. I'm going to be maintaining that information over here, LIN. Click on continue. Now you can find the values copied. Now what is our company controlling area? LIN. Whatever data you maintain for your company code, same values has been updated up over here. So naming convention, currency of transaction, in which currency transaction need to be posted. And you can find these two fields. Chart of accounts and financial year. I was trying to mention the reason why we need to copy your company code from a reference. Did we created any of these entries? No, right? If we have not maintained, can we go for creation of this controlling area? No. That is the reason we copied our information from a standard one, so that these dependent entries are updated and we can record the transaction and it will be posted accordingly. So this is what has been updated up over here. So make sure you have these entries maintained, and company code is going to be created that controlling area. Please try to select it as same as company code. Maintain it, click on enter and try to save it. That is a code maintained for company code currency. Now sometimes what happens, business stock need to be evaluated in different currencies. So for example, if you want to do your stock valuation in company code currency, we use 10 as a rule. If you want to do the currency, if you want to do the stock valuation in different currency, we use rule 30. So those settings are maintained by the CO department for stock valuation purpose. No. In system, we are going to be using two different types of currencies. Whether you want to evaluate the stock in company code currency, we use rule 10. Now, for example, you're running the business over here, but you want to do all valuation in USD. Then we use rule 30. Got it. So that is what we try to manage. So 30 doesn't represent USD. It can be any other currency. Foreign currency, we maintain 30. Domestic currency, we maintain it as 10. Okay. Don't worry about these particular messages. These are all going to be dependent entries what we need to activate. Here you can find this one. Your controlling area has been created. This we need to enable. Whatever errors you are getting it, this is with reference to your stock valuation. When we deal with valuation, when we update the stock in the inventory, there we try to check out how this needs to be set. Try to click on cancel and try to exit from this particular screen. You can click on back option. You can come out of that particular screen. And this is the shortcut. Instead of path, if you want to go by the transaction code, you can use transaction code OX06. Done. Okay. So with this, your total FICO configuration, what is required, we have completed it. So under finance, 3 steps. Under controlling, 1 step. Now comes the next area to deal with. We call it as logistic general. And over here, the configuration settings are going to be handled by consultants, not by sales MM. So if you close this controlling, there's the next module. And under this logistics general, so we have multiple steps to work on. Here we are going to be learning 2 steps: how to create a plant, how to create a division. Only 2 steps we deal with: plant creation and division creation. So here I was trying to mention, when we talk about plant, company's production unit, manufacturing unit, factories, we try to map it and call it as a plant. I was not putting down that information. So let me try to teach you first that definition and we try to get into the configuration of it. So you're going to be finding factories. If you want to manufacture a product, you require factories, or people call it as production units, or we try to call it as manufacturing units. So this factories, manufacturing units, everything in SAP, we try to represent it as a plant. This is the term we are going to be using it. And in plant, there are going to be 2 steps which will be done. One, storage. We are going to be storing the product. That activity is what we try to call it as inventory management. We store the product. Second, we manufacture the product. So production activities are going to be carried out, where we try to install our machinery, machines, equipments for changing the status of the materials. Okay, so we use this particular place for 2 reasons: for stock storage and for production activities. And this is going to be created by your consultants. Now, how many plants can company can have? It can be many. So that is what your consultant will be doing. They try to go for creation of plants in SAP. Now, we try to perform the same thing over here. We try to go for creation of a plant. Now, how to deal with? You have 2 options over here. If you want to create a plant, you can. Or if you want to copy the plant from a reference, you can. Now, what is the process you are going to be following it? Want some water? Now, what is the process you are going to be following for this? Now, when we try to go for creation of a plant, we try to copy it from a reference. Now, whatever steps you have followed for company code creation, you are going to be following the same steps for your plant creation as well. You're going to be following the same steps for plant creation. Again, the reason for that, stock valuation process need to be followed. Stock valuation. Now, what you mean by this stock valuation? When stock comes in, when stock goes out, company will be evaluating it. How much worth of stock I have, how much worth of stock I hold. This is going to be with reference to MMNFI accounting interests, which need to be enabled. Okay, so for that, what we do, we try to basically copy the data. We copy once again because of the settings which need to be maintained from the finance department. So here you're going to be using from plant, from which we try to copy the information to our plant. From and to is what we try to maintain it. Now again, I'm going to be using same 1710 as my reference. Here I've used 1710. Here also I'm using 1710. Now 1710 is acting as plant or company code. This 1710 is acting as company code or it is acting as a plant. Here it is going to be acting as a company code. Here it is going to be acting as a plant. Now, if you are trying to use same naming convention for different organizational units, system will accept it. Why? Plant information is stored in separate tables in the database and company code information is stored in separate tables in the database. It will be not getting overlapped. So if you are trying to use the same naming convention, there will be no problem for that. So here I'm going to be picking up 1710 and I'm going to be creating a plant called as LP01. This is the code I'm maintaining it. If I want to create a second plant, LP02, third plant, LP03. Like this, how many plants we want to create, you can go for that. And we follow the same thing over here. I'm going to be working out with this as my first step. Copy plant. Try to click on it. Click on copy, delete, check plant. Double click on it. And this is going to be the screen. Whatever screen you have observed for company code creation, same screen will be getting displayed up over here. You can keep this icon from which organizational object you want to copy it. So try to click on it and you get this particular message. From and to plant is what we need to maintain. I'm maintaining 1710 as a reference from which I try to copy and I'm trying to create LOP1 or LIP1, LP01. I'm naming it as LP01. Try to click on continue. Copy all the dependent interests over here. So use the same request for storing the information. And this is going to be the final message you're going to be getting it. So the values from 1710 has been copied to LP01. Okay, now when you get this particular message, now what is the next step? What you're going to be doing it on. So try to click on continue option over here. If you click on this completed activities, all the values from 1710 has been updated to LP01. Now exit from this particular screen and try to work out with the second step, which we call it as define plant, because we need to update the address. And when you click on this define plant option, again you can find log entry. So we need to get back to SM12. We need to remove it and we need to work. Or you need to wait for that particular person to exit. Okay, so here I'm just trying to open your SM12 or refresh this particular screen. Okay, for entries displayed, that is okay. Try to click on yes option. Now, right now we are under display mode. So try to get into change mode. Click on position, pick up the entry LP01. Now you can find the naming convention. Try to update it by getting into details icon. Get into details icon, update the information which has been copied. So first I'm trying to call it as LG unit number 1. And can I update this particular address over here? This is what we call it as display entry. In display mode, you cannot do any kind of changes. Then where to go? Address. You need to click on this address tab, and this is a place where you're going to be updating it. Whenever you try to create a plant, make sure you're going to be updating the address mandatory. Why? Taxes will be incorporated with it. When you sell any particular product or when you receive the product, taxes will be calculated. So for that, you require plant information. So make sure you try to delete all the entries which has been copied from your reference and update it by maintaining the information. So I'm just trying to call it as LG unit number 1, search term LP01, some address I'm trying to maintain it over here. These two fields are mandatory. Country, region, because we are going to be dealing with GST, central GST, state GST. For that, these values are going to be playing a very important role. Okay, so if you want to check out the preview, you can click on this preview option, and this is a format in which it is going to be getting printed. So check all this information has been maintained properly or not, and try to save it. Done. Now, values has been updated up over here. No, right? We maintain it as Telangana, but it has been not updated. So if you want to see that updated values, first exit from the screen. Okay, try to exit from this particular screen. Try to reopen it. You're going to be finding updated information getting displayed up as well. Now, can you find this one? Factory calendar. We need to update this factory calendar as well over here. Factory calendar is nothing but working hours of that particular factory. Whether the factory is closed or open, what are the working durations, that information is going to be created by HR with integration MM. So MM team will be collecting the factory calendar or the factory timings, and they update it to the HR team and they design it. So here I'm going to be maintaining one standard factory calendar maintained for India, which is going to be IN, where Monday to Saturday it will be considered as a working day. Only Sunday holiday. And try to save it. Done. And we have a transaction code for creation of this factory calendar on the name of SCAL. There's a T code for that, SCAL, where you can go for creation of factory calendars. If you try to select a factory calendar, click on display. You can check the country wise. It will be shown up over here. You can pick up country IN, double click on it. You're going to be finding it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday has been activated as what? Working day. Saturday, Sunday, public holiday. holiday. This information we are going to be using for calculating delivery date. Now, for example, if customer is trying to place an order on Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be taken as a holiday and working day will be taken as Monday. If it's trying to place an order on Friday, we are going to be delivering the stock on Monday. That's how it's going to be reacting. Okay, so you can maintain all these things in the system. So right now we are trying to use IN as our factory calendar for this and try to save it as well. Now this is how you try to go for creating a plant. Now if I need to create a second plant, now how do we do it? We need to copy it from 1710 or LP01. So if you have your entry maintained in the system, use that as a reference, copy and create it. No need to pick up 1710 anymore. Please take your entry and update it. So this is the first step where we have learned how to go for creating of a plant. We copy the data from the reference and we created it. Next step, we try to work out with divisions. Product lines. What all products company want to offer it to the customer, we try to design it as a product lines on the term division. So here I'm going to be creating 1 or 2 divisions, and this is a step for that. Define, copy, delete, check division. And when you click on it, if you want to copy the data from the reference, you can do that. But it is not required. We try to work out with creation. In your total enterprise structure configuration, these are the only 2 steps we try to copy. One is going to be your company code. Second is going to be the plant. Apart from these 2 steps, we don't copy any other organizational unit. And when you click on it, define division, we have this particular screen. And the length of division code is of 2 letters. Okay, you can find the length is of 2 letters. It will be not accepting more than 2 letters over here. From L1 to L5, all codes has been used. I'm going to be using another code as L6. If I'm trying to enter same code, it will be not accepted. Okay, so try to take the help of new interest, and I'm trying to create on L6 as mobiles as one segment, and L7 I'm trying to name it as accessories. So LG company is going to be selling mobiles and accessories. If you want to create more, you can put down the code, you can maintain the product lines. Now, for example, I'm trying to maintain one more, L8, which is going to be TVs as one segment. Like how many product lines the company is having, you can add it as division and try to save it. So these are all our product lines, what I mapped it as a division, L6, L7, L8. So this is the second step what we've done. So in the real time, people will be maintaining these information in the system. Okay. So what all things we have learned till now means on a financial accounting, today we have completed the task of company code creation under controlling area, and we came to know the difference between decentralized and centralized. So if you are trying to work out with decentralized, each controlling area will be used for one line of business. If you're trying to deal with centralized, one controlling area will be used for different line of business. Then we started working out with logistics general, where we learn how to go for creation of plant and divisions. Now, next area where we try to work is going to be sales and distribution, where as an SD consultant, you are going to be doing the configuration. So you're going to be responsible for performing 4 steps. And all these 4 steps, you're not going to be copying it, you're going to be defining it. Where you try to go for creating a sales org, distribution channel, sales office, sales group. So in our next class on Monday, we try to finish off this SD, MM, LE. And we try to get into the second part, which is going to be assignments. Okay. So let me try to stop it over here. We try to meet up in the next class and continue this. Okay. Thank you guys.